So welcome everyone. We're going to leave off the AI note takers, so you don't need to request those. But we'll get started. Adam, thank you so much. You are the owner and founder of Easify, so let you get started with it. Give us a summary of Easify, and then we'll get into everything.
Sure, Shane, thank you. And thank you everybody for being here on pre-Thanksgiving. I'm Adam Schwartz, founder and CEO of Easify. And for those of you who do not know, Easify is a complete marketing and communication platform that we built specifically for the MCA industry. Now, the reason we built the system over 5 years ago is because we were trying to use marketing and communication in one unified tool, and it was impossible to find it. So, like any good development team, we ended up creating it ourselves. So, over 2 years ago, we introduced it to the MCA world, and it has become a tremendous success. And what makes this so successful is really the integration of all the communication and marketing systems in one unified system. And those systems that we utilize are as follows. We have the phone, right? We have a full phone system, an IVR system, texting, emailing, ringless voicemail, and voice broadcasting. And prior to us building this, you couldn't get all these in one platform. You'd have to go to two, three, four different, even five different providers, and it was very disjointed. So what this allows you to do is effectively communicate on any given channel to get the best marketing communication efforts for all your leads, right? And that's the key to the game, right? So while many of you recognize the power of these features, today we want to discuss more about the sales process and the workflow to be able to understand how to use these features in the most effective way possible. So given that, I'd like to introduce Moses. He is our leading onboard specialist, and he's kind of going to walk us through the most effective sales process that we've seen in the MC industry. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to give it over to Moses. He's going to walk you through it. Now, there's a lot of information to go through. It's an hour. I think we want to do about 45 minutes and then leave, 15 minutes for open
Yeah.
discussion. Now, as we go through the modules, if anybody has any questions, leave it in the chat, and then as soon as we finish our thought, we'll kind of address those. All right. So with no further ado, Moises, please show everybody.
Hey, thank you, Adam. Hello, everyone. My name is Moises. I'm very glad to be here. I wanted to thank Shane and Thunder Intel for hosting us. I'm super excited to kind of show you, everything, all the workflows that you can set up through Easify to maximize your deal conversions. It's a super powerful tool. So yeah, let's jump into it.
All right.
So so the reason why, right, the sale process matters, especially in the MCA industry, is that you really need a consistent and proven workflow to maximize efficiency, right? Especially when you're working with, in the MCA industry, you're typically working with a lot of leads. You're working a bunch of leads all the time, trying to convert. So you need to do that as efficient as possible to maximize your revenue. So we have some tools that should definitely help with that efficiency.
And we'll go to the
Right.
next one, the pain before Easify. Yep.
So like I mentioned, right, manually working your leads, right, that's no way to kind of maximize revenue, especially when you're having to work through hundreds or potentially thousands of leads to convert one deal. Um, so by automating your processes as much as possible and sticking to those workflows that we know work, you no longer have to waste your time and also lose on your leads by doing everything manually, by trying to keep yourself organized manually. And additionally, right, with all the spam likelies and the MCA industry is very saturated right now, so there's a lot of people doing a lot of things to try to reach merchants. So the carriers have kind of put in place a lot of filters and spam likely filters, right, that can make it hard to reach your clients. So we have some tools that will essentially, you know, completely remove the issues with spam likely, right? So we'll speak about that in just a second. And then also with all the different things that we've built into one system, SMS campaigns, ringless voicemail campaigns, email campaigns, as well as different workflows for automations, right? And it's essentially a CRM. Also, you for sure use Easify Marketing as a CRM. Um, that could be up to 5 logins that you and your brokers have to remember and click different tabs to log in. So by consolidating all these features into one platform, you're saving time and you're saving money.
Okay. So tell us about the sales engine.
So the sales engine here, right? It's all the different avenues of warming up your leads through, like I mentioned, SMS campaigns, ringless voicemail campaigns, email campaigns, but also we have automated, follow-up workflows based on specific keywords or based on specific time frames of when if your client has responded back or has not responded back, and you can set up these workflows to, for instance, right? Let's say any client that hasn't responded within 3 days, let's send them a follow-up message, or maybe send them a follow-up email, right, with the link to apply. So there's a lot of customizability, and you can set up these workflows for months and months of follow-ups, so you don't have to do this manually, right? You can just set it and forget it, and the system will do all those follow-ups for you. Um, and we also have there's an AI dialer, right? So you can build out your AI agent to handle incoming calls as well as outgoing calls, as well as an SMS AI agent that can respond to your to your incoming text messages. And there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. I want to kind of touch on that a little bit later. We also have a calendar tool, our Easify bookings tool, which is it's similar to Calendly or TidyCal, but better, right? Because you can, for instance, use your AI chatbot to send out your link through Easify to book calls with your contacts. You can even build out Teams calls for you and your brokers so that you guys can kind of share a calendar, and it will just book calls on a round robin sort of sort of cadence based on your guys' availability, and it does sync with your Microsoft Teams or your Google Calendar so that there's no double bookings or anything like that.
Okay.
Alrighty, so this is kind of a table of contents of what we're going to be going over. Just to kind of quickly go through it, we'll be discussing how to upload and prepare your contact list, your prospect list, how to pre-warm your leads, what the Easify Trust Center does for you, as well as what goes into area code matching and why that's a big benefit, our AI call assistant, and as well as our AI SMS assistant, the Easify bookings, which I just mentioned, the lead management and disposition tools that we have within Easify, and then how you can remarket non-responders automatically. There's a few ways that you can do that through Easify, and then everything that you can do through the Easify mobile app, which is available on iOS and Android. And at the end, we'll discuss the Easify CRM, which is coming soon. Okay, sweet. So, in order to upload and prepare your lists, all right. Well, just to kind of, I do want to mention, right, getting started with Easify, right? You do need to get 10DLC approved. That's for any mass SMS sending in the United States. It's a requirement, but we get you approved within 2 to 3 business days, right? We give you all the information you need to get approved. We help you update your website for approval because we know what will and will not get approved. So once you get approved, then you're ready to start uploading your leads and start sending out some campaigns, right? So you can import your contact list directly into Easify. There's no real limit on how many contact lists you can upload. It's all CSV, and you can match your headers to our headers automatically by just naming the headers correctly, and it will just automatically, so you don't have to manually set all the different parameters. Um, we do have automatic scrubbing for DNC and TCPA, litigators already built into the system. We have 2 ways that you can scrub your lists. We have a scrub, like once you upload your leads, you can manually scrub your own list to make sure that you remain compliant and don't run into any issues with TCPA violations. And then we also have a shared global DNC list, which means that any user on Easify that has already scrubbed a number through us, you will also have access to that without having to scrub the same number, right? So the system will automatically prevent you from sending to those, previously scrubbed numbers. You can, of course, toggle that on or off to your liking, but we just provide that as an added bonus.
Which is
And
huge.
yeah, that's
Yes,
huge.
sorry, I was gonna say
Yeah,
it's huge. Everyone
yeah.
knows, everyone should know how damaging those numbers can be. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then as a part of that, we also can scrub out any landline numbers so that you're not just, spinning your wheels trying to contact people through text that can't even receive text messages. So should I answer questions at the end, or can I tackle Alex's question about the approval?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to take it now.
Yeah, so with the approval, it's 10 DLC. That stands for 10-digit long code. Really, what that means is that in order for a business to send mass SMS campaigns in the United States, you need to get approved. With a 10-digit phone number, you need to get approved by a A2P carrier as well as the major carriers. So that meaning there's some rules that you need to follow regarding messaging. Um, and it's just to prevent fraudulent actors from sending out mass SMS campaigns for phishing and that sort of thing. So again, we do help you with the approval process. It typically takes around 2 to 3 business days, and yeah, we essentially handle it for you.
And I'll just speak to that for a second also.
Yeah,
So about 2 years ago, the industry changed in terms of being able to send out mass texting. 10 DLC was enforced greatly, and there were a bunch of industries that were marked as high risk industries. And unfortunately, and ridiculously, by the way, that's a whole different conversation, the MCA world was depicted as a high risk industry. So what that meant is if you went and tried to get your website and your name and your brand registered with the carriers, and that's what has to get done ultimately, you get denied. Right. It was very difficult. So we ended up getting a contract with Twilio and some other carriers to be able to figure out the recipe, how to not only do it with 100% accuracy, because there's a lot of nuances to be able to register your campaign, but even the wording on which Moises had brought up, the website, right? Your privacy policy has to say certain verbiage, the terms of service have to say certain things. So we help you as a full service provider to be able to make sure with a 100% guarantee that you're going to get approved and not sitting in the wings for 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the carriers. We'll get it done within typically 24 to 72 hours tops. And typically, if there's any issues, they'll tell us what they are, and we'll turn them around very quickly. So that's a really big part of being able to not only get you up and running quickly, but keep you texting, right? Because that's the other aspect. If there's any violations or problems, we're there to help you. But anyway,
yeah. No, as a part of that, right, we also help with messaging because we know what's approved, what wouldn't be approved, right, for 10 DLC messaging. But even more so, we know what can get delivered, right? Because it's not just the carrier that's sending messages nowadays, right? The big carriers have automatic filters for specific keywords, so we help you with knowing what will actually deliver, so that you can actually get in contact with your clients.
right. And some of the tools, well, I'll just quickly say it, that we implement because what happens is when you're sending out messages, if you're sending from the same number or you're sending the same message consistently, they'll pick it up immediately. So we build out these features where we can auto spin your messages to say hundreds of different things, right?
Huge.
You can come from hundreds of different numbers. You can personalize it with what we call meal merge fields. So you can add the name of the person, the last name, the company name, any fields you want to insert there. So each send is a unique send, right? So we help you, like I said, not only get compliant, but stay compliant. And these are really important things as you go through the texting universe and, kind of navigate the waters. And if you do it by yourself, it's very difficult. So,
Yeah,
Yep.
Shane, I see Josh asked how difficult it is to learn the system. I think we should, if you can, go into the demo here, just so we can kind of see the UI and you really get understanding that it's a super user friendly, and
Okay.
very very easy to use.
Let me know if you can see the screen because I changed tabs.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Demo. Okay, perfect.
Go ahead and do the get started for me.
Okay.
All right, sweet. So this module is just showing you how to upload your contacts, right? What I want to point out though is that everything that you want to your that's important on the system in terms of sending SMS, sending out your campaigns, automations, your bookings page, it's all located on the left-hand side there. So it's very easy to navigate the site. And then in the dashboard there, you'll see just some analytics of what you've been sending recently. So here in the contacts page is, of course, where you'd be uploading your CSVs. Go ahead and add to create a new contact group. You give it a name, of course. What I want to show, yeah, go ahead and there we go. And then choose that newly created list. And here's where you import the CSV. And what Adam just mentioned, where you can personalize your message, what you really want to do, right, for the best deliverability. Um, those all those merge fields that you just saw there, right? First name, last name, company name. You even have three additional fields for whatever other miscellaneous information you might want to mention on your text message templates. That really maximizes deliverability, and it just shows that personal flair when you're, hi, first name, I'm contacting you about company name, right? It shows that you know who you're talking to. That's good for deliverability and also to convert, right, your leads. Alrighty. Go ahead and tap the DNC scrubbing there.
Okay.
This is where you can scrub your lists. And again, it scrubs against state DNC, federal DNC, known TCPA complainers, and it can also scrub out your landline numbers too. So there you would just click on, yep, the drop down, pick a list, and then go ahead and scrub that list. All right, sweet.
Very cool.
And you get a notification. You get an email notification once your scrub, if it's like a longer list, right? Once your scrub is done, and you'll also get a notification on Easify as well. And what's very cool is you can see, per DID, per phone number that you have on the list, what the results were, if they're clean. And if they're a bad number, right, you'll see specifically why they were shown to be a bad number. If it's federal DNC, TCPA, or if it's a landline, you can see that, and you can export those lists, like the bad number list or the good number list, right? So, if you're purchasing your data and you got a bunch of bad numbers and you want to kind of send those over to your lead provider, we provide those CSVs for you.
Okay. Wonderful. I think, yeah, to Josh's question, it looks like the setup is simple. You have a great, kind of tutorial there to get it done, get started. So I think once you proceed on, Josh and everyone else will see how easy it is to use.
Yeah,
Do you want
absolutely.
to go
Yep.
back to slides?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
And
Yep.
one additional thing I'll tell Josh, which makes us different. So a lot of SaaS platforms or platforms such as this, it's kind of you go on there and you're left to do everything yourself, right? We are so hands-on because we realize it's an extremely robust platform. Moises is one of many onboarding specialists, and you're going to get assigned somebody to help you through the process. We don't want to just give it to you and run away because we realize that we want to help you, right? So we're going to from understanding what you want from the system and the workflows that you want to create and the systems that you need for your entity or for your business. We're going to work with you hand in hand to make sure that you're set up so that it's basically set it and forget it. So we're dedicated to your success. And I hope that kind of answers the question. So.
Absolutely. So here, right, we're looking at the three different ways that you can send out your mass SMS campaigns to pre-warm your leads, right? And it's honestly best to mix and match and make use of all the avenues that we provide for marketing, right? The SMS campaigns, the ringless voicemail campaigns. If you guys are not familiar with ringless voicemail, it's essentially you're uploading an audio recording that will get delivered to your contacts as a voicemail. So it'll just get dropped right into their voicemail box. And then we also, of course, have email campaigns that you can send. So by kind of making use of all three ways of contacting your clients, right? You're really differentiating yourself from all the other broker shops, right? That are out there, so that when you call them, they know who you are. They have some context for what you are and what you're offering, and they'll be way more likely to fund the deal with you.
Next one.
Go ahead. I want to show if we can go into that demo because this is, one of the. Could
Go
you?
go
Yeah.
back to the here
Oh,
or
sorry. If you go back to the slide and then go back one slide.
yep, this one.
Yeah. Go ahead and view demo.
Oh, it's different demos. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just do one here, just to kind of show you how to set up let's say the SMS campaign, because they're all very similar. Once you have like your email set up with us, or if you're doing a ringless voice note campaign and you have your voice recording set up, it's very similar to actually send out the campaigns. So if you would, could you click into the SMS campaign? So if you can see on the left-hand sidebar there, there's the SMS option. Right now, yeah, there you go. And here's where you create the campaign. Essentially, all you need to do is give it a name, right? Choose the phone numbers that you're sending from, um, and then choose the contact list that you're going to be sending the campaign to, right? One cool thing, and we'll get into labels a little later, is you can actually, really, target your campaigns based on the different labels, which are essentially tags, right? Interested, hot lead, cold, etc. So you can, use the advanced features for the SMS campaign to either include only a specific label or exclude based on specific labels too. So you can run very very targeted advertise or marketing campaigns depending on those different tags that you have set up or labels that you have set up through us.
Right. And one more thing I want to add him was is that in terms of the senders, which are your DID numbers you're going to be sending from, if you segregate out the area codes, we do what we call area code matching. So when we're sending to the end user, right, if they have a 516 number, it's going to come from a 516 number. So we realize that the more local the number seems to come from, the better chance of response you're going to have. So we have these features not only with the SMS, but with the calling too. And it's a setting where if you put on what we call geo matching, it'll always do that automatically.
Yep. Which is huge. Like that local presence is huge, right? Just gives that extra level of trust when it's coming from a local number. And then here is when you're setting up choosing the template that you're going to use on the campaign. So go ahead, select the template group. This is just to keep yourself organized across, maybe different template IDs that you might have. And then you're going to select the specific template. And just to, ensure that you remain compliant, we do review the template prior to be able prior to you being able to send out the campaign. But it's just to again ensure that you remain compliant because compliance is so huge nowadays for SMS sending that we just want to make sure that you will be able to continue sending SMS through us, and then also the deliverability remains high.
Right. We even keep a list of words that we highly recommend you do not use, like a black list for words like
Yep.
financial or get this free or
Yeah,
certain
like the
phrases that,
dollar sign, yeah,
right,
stuff like that. Yeah.
that the carriers are looking for that will mark a spam. So we have all these different filters and safeguards built into the system so that we keep you as compliant as possible.
That's right. And yeah, and for those keywords, those keywords that we recommend not using whenever you submit a template, it will automatically appear if you have one of those, bad words in the template. Okay, yep, go ahead and continue. So that's really it, right? That it's super simple to set up your campaign. You're giving it a name, you're selecting your senders, the contact group, and then the template. Then you can either schedule it for later or just send it at whenever you're setting up the campaign. And what's very cool with us is that once you actually start the campaign, those messages are getting delivered within 3 to 5 minutes. The entire campaign should be done, honestly. The results are in real time. You can see right a few minutes after sending the campaign, you'll hear the system dinging, letting you know that you're getting responses. Um,
Is is there a stagger of how many go out at one time, or how does that work? Of like 100 or 1,000 text or whatever it may be.
Right. So we have uh, I forget what they call it, but it's like 1,000 per minute we can send out. So,
Okay.
I know there are people that send out, we have a few customers that send out hundreds of thousands a day, if not millions,
Mm,
so we can we can change the settings, but we keep it at about 1,000 a minute.
okay.
you know. And then once you send out the campaign, you can see all the results, right? How, all the successful sends. If there were any fails, you can click to view the campaign to see why they failed. And you also get, analytics. So you can check back on your campaigns to see how many replies, right? How many opt-outs. So if you want to kind of keep track on what template, what wording is working best for you, you can look back at those previous campaigns to see all those analytics.
All right. And Josh asks, is the area code geo matching automatic, or do I have to purchase all area codes to allow targeting?
So, you do have to own the area code, right, in order to match that to your client. So what I always recommend purchasing, phone numbers from the biggest markets in America, right? At least a few, right? So you can really make use of that area code matching.
Right.
Over at
Yeah,
go ahead.
unlike other systems, we don't spoof. So those are
Yeah,
actually your numbers. We can brand
exactly.
your numbers. We want deliverability on the numbers. Other
Yep.
systems will use shared numbers, which is not a good idea because then other companies that are using those numbers, you don't know what they're doing with them, and they can get flagged very easily as spam. We're very, very proactive to make sure that all your numbers are getting delivered, and the only way we can do that is to make sure they're your numbers. So you could buy unlimited numbers. You buy the ones that you want, and then they're yours. And by the way, you can text from them, you can call from them, you can do everything from them. And not only will you get the responses in the desktop application, but we have the mobile app too. So if you're mobile and you're running around and you got to get back to them, you'll be getting the dings on the phone as well.
Speaking of everything you do with the numbers, right, you can route them to your office lines, to your personal line, so that all incoming calls will go to whatever number it's routed to. You can even set up an IVR, so it's your numbers, and you have a lot of control over what you can do with them.
Right. And the newest edition, which is really so powerful, and we don't really touch about, we should have another webinar about this, is the AI. We have a voice AI
Huge.
that'll pick up your phone that you designate and will say anything and everything that you program it to, or we help you program it to. It's unbelievably powerful, but I think we should have another like seminar just talking about the application of AI across the platform. So.
Okay. Yeah. And we can touch on it. I think there's some things you want to talk about in regards to that later on. So we'll touch on it and see what we have time for. And then definitely up for doing another one. Should we get back to this
Yes, yes,
this
yes.
one or the
So
next slide? Yeah.
yeah, you can go ahead and get go over to the next slide. Thanks.
Okay.
So this trust center, this is huge, right? So this will completely stop any spam likely reports, right? So that whenever you do outbound calling, your number will never show up as spam likely ever if you use these trust center features. So the three features. Go ahead and click the demo. I just want to we don't I just want to show them where the trust center is and what the specific features are. Um, but we don't have to stay in this demo for too long here. So if you go to settings, yeah, and then go over to Trust Center. Oh, so this is I think we're in
Oh, did
the
it
geo
go?
matching.
It
Yeah.
went over one. I think that's, yeah, I thought I saw something. Click. Oh, here we go.
So essentially, what the Trust Center is, it's comprised of three different registrations. So if you click on Trust Center there in the black, yeah. So the first one is the shaken/stir registration, which is essentially, protocols that the major carriers have enacted, where essentially it's a handshake, meaning if you have the shaken/stirred set up, you are a trusted number, you're a known number, you're a known entity, and your numbers will never show up as spam likely, right? Because of that handshake agreement between the carriers, right? So that's what the shaken/stir does. It's huge, right? So if you're doing, especially if you're doing a lot of volume of calls, we highly recommend that you get this set up because, right, get having that spam likely report can kill your leads. So just by getting this set up, that again, you're ensuring that spam likely report will never occur for your Easify numbers. So that's completely huge. Right? Especially in this industry, right? So, and then the second, trust center of registration that we have is CNAME, which is essentially a way that you can set up a caller ID for either your name, or your business name, right? So that when you call, you do outbound calling. it will show that name right on your client's phone, right? So they have some context of who's calling. It doesn't just look like an anonymous spam caller, right? Which they're probably getting just anonymous calls all day nowadays, and that they're not picking up. So having that branded calling is huge. And also, I got ahead of myself a bit. We also have branded calling, which is similar to CNAME, right? Where you can set up your business name, right? But you can also set up a branded logo. So not only do you have your business name showing up, you have your actual logo appearing when you do outbound calling, right? So that just kind of elevates your trustability, it elevates your professionalism, again, leading to much higher pickup rates. Okay. So yeah, the trust center is huge. Again, especially if you're intending to do a lot of outbound calls using Easify.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Uh,
we can continue.
back to the slides, or there
Yeah,
we
please.
go. All right. Next one.
Yeah. So Adam mentioned this earlier. This is the area code matching. We discussed this. Where essentially, again, right, it's matching your numbers that you own, so that any clients that have matching area codes from in your contact list, they're going to receive that text or that call automatically from that matching area code for that local presence.
Okay. There's the AI call assistant.
All right, so this is it's incredible. It really
Do you
is.
want
This
to
is
just
an
touch
incredible
on it,
feature.
or do you want me to come back to this, or what do you want to do?
We can touch on Adam.
Okay.
What do you
Yeah.
think? What do
Go
you
Yeah,
think?
ahead.
let's touch on it because it really is so powerful.
Yeah.
All right, so essentially, what the AI call assistant can do, right, is we have a pre-built out workflow for the MCA industry, right? So, it's always best to train it on your data, right? The specifics of your deals of your business. Um, But what it can do, right? It can field all incoming calls. Not only can it field incoming calls and work, a client up to the point where they can transfer to a live agent once it qualifies the lead, right? It can discuss, okay, how much is your monthly revenue? How many years have you been in business? It can do all that qualification, right? And then once it qualifies the client, right, it can literally live transfer to one of your, to whatever number you want, right? It could also send an SMS, like a text message, once they're qualified. Okay, here's the link to sign up, or it can send them an email with the link to your application, right? And that's just you're not no one's on the phone, right? It's just the AI agent doing all this for you. Not only that, not only can it field all those incoming calls, we also have an automated dialer, right, where you can do up to 4 calls through the same line, where you, as the agent, would be taking on one of the calls, right? Whoever answers first, right, you would be talking to that contact, and then the AI agent would take over the 3 other calls. And you don't have to do 4 calls. You can do 2 calls at a time, 3 calls at a time. It's totally up to you. And so while you're on the call with your client, you can see a live transcription of everything that the AI agent is talking with that client about, right? And you can even transfer at any time to those calls. Once you're ready to take over, right, you can just click to transfer over, and then boom, right, you're in that call. Um, and by the way, right, all the AI calls, right, they're all the transcriptions are readily available, right? There's even an AI summary, right, that just kind of gives you a quick synopsis of what went on in the call. So yeah, it's incredible. It really is incredible. And if you're, this completely changes the amount of volume you can do per by yourself, right? You can do basically 4 times the amount of calls that you usually be able to do, because not only is the AI agent taking over, right, up to 3 additional calls. Anyone who's not picking up, right, then you don't have to worry about waiting for it to go to voicemail, right? You're just going to the next call. So you're doing, you know, more than 4 times what you're typically able to do.
Right. And sales is about a
Amazing.
numbers game, right? So if the agent has 4 times the ability to connect in a day, that means 4 times the connects, four times the applications, 4 times the closed deals.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Incredible. There was another question. I think we'll come back to it. We'll get through some more of these slides, and then we'll come back to go over that if we have that time. Let's see. Our AI powered SMS.
Okay, so the this is pretty similar to the AI caller, right? You can set up your chat agent for any incoming SMS. This is huge. I've used it out. I'll give you an example of kind of what you can do with the AI powered SMS. So, one of our clients, right? I completely set up his AI agent, right? We went through and set up all the parameters for again, how many essentially, right? We've trained the AI um, to qualify all the leads, right? Once you set up the automations, right? Someone responds, okay, the AI is taking over, and then it's asking, hey, how many years, how long have you been in business, right? We set it so that if it's over 6 months, it will go to the next question. Do you have a business checking account? If it's the answer is yes, it will go to the last question that's qualifying the lead, right? What's your average monthly revenue for the past 3 to 4 months? If it's over 15K, then the agent is automatically sending the link to the application through SMS. Not only that, right, using our webhooks through Zapier, we've set it up so that anytime the webhook catches that the link to his application has been sent, right, we're pushing that contact to his outside CRM. So and it's sending him an email automatically, right, once that push has happened. So we've essentially, right, set up a way to qualify the lead automatically, send them the link to the application, and then also push that lead to his CRM, right, and send him an email letting him know, hey, this is a new, qualified lead that just got sent your CRM. You set your link to the link to your application. So maybe call this lead, right? This is a good lead, right? So it's huge, right? The potential here is huge for not only saving time, but also closing deals.
Right. And I'll speak to one aspect of the AI. So one of the things that makes this also really, really powerful is you can have a PDF, you can upload all the data and all the information that you want because it's all about telling the AI what you want and what information or workflow you want to create. So you can upload information, you can put in text, you can put in all kinds of different data, and it's going to learn from the data that you put in. So very powerful. But also what's different about this is that you can test it. And if it gives you answers that maybe you don't like, you can actually modify the answers in our testing site. And what it'll do is it'll modify them so that next time that question's asked, it'll give you the question or give the customer the question that you programmed it to give. So not only does it learn, you can test it, make sure that it's giving the output that you want, and if it's not, modify it so that it will. So we give you a panel to really make it as functional as possible and give you the really the reins to make it what you want it to be. And plus, like I said, we're here to help if you're running into any issues or problems.
Absolutely.
All right. Very nice. Now, Easify bookings.
So this is Easify Bookings is our calendar application that's built into Easify. So you can build out different meetings that will give you, based on your availability, and it will create a link that you can share with your clients that they can book based on your availability, and it will create automatically, right, a Google Meet room for you guys to join in on. But if you prefer Zoom, you can also integrate your Zoom account, and it will create Zoom meetings for you and your clients. Not only that, right, it integrates directly with your Microsoft Teams calendar, and then also your Google Calendar, right? So again, there's no double booking issues or anything like that. And like I mentioned earlier, you can set up, team meeting types where you and any of your agents that you have on Easify, right? They'll set everyone will set their availability, and it will, cross-reference your Google Calendar, your Microsoft Teams calendar, right? And it will book calls based on availability, but also on a round robin sort of cadence, right? So that it's kind of sharing the workload across your whole team. So huge. And once you build out those meetings, right, you can train the AI like, oh, can we book a call, right? The AI can send them the link to your Easify bookings page and book a call with you, automatically. So huge.
Okay.
On top of that, you can set up through your Easify, numbers and your Easify email, automated reminders for your calls, just so that it reduces no shows, right, by like 60% by sending out those automated reminders, and you can set up the cadence for those reminders too. If you want it, 15 minutes before the call, an hour before the call, you have control over all of that.
All right,
Okay.
disposition. Yep.
So sweet. So this is our label system, right? So not only that, right? It's also our lead management because we do have a specific lead tab where any qualified leads, any leads that you're kind of working, that's kind of different than just a general contact. Because generally, right, with all your contacts, you're sending a lot of SMS campaigns, so it's more a volume game there, right? But once you've developed a relationship with your contacts and maybe they're applying or whatever the case may be, you can push them to leads, right? And in that leads panel, you get kind of a more controlled experience for your contacts, right? You can click to see all the notes and everything with that contact, and it just kind of filters all your contacts to the most important ones. Not only that, you can actually attach PDFs or different files to that lead so that you can easily send that to them through email. Um, and then at the top there, the interested or callback or DNC, right? You can't set up labels, and as you're working your deals, you can either you know tag an entire contact list with a specific label, hot leads, interested cold, or on a case by case basis as you're chatting back and forth through text messaging, through text messages with your contacts, right? You can label them. And then not only that, right? I mentioned earlier with your SMS campaigns, you can filter based on those labels. And this is a cross contact list. So if you want to, use 5 contact lists on a specific campaign, but only hit across all of those 5 contact lists, only hit the hot leads, you can filter using that label. And again, you can also filter to not send to a specific label also. And then the last big thing, huge thing that you can do with these labels, right, is set up an automation. So basically, once you label a contact, as hot or cold, right, you can that will add them to whatever automation campaign you set up for that label. So, for hot lead, if you want a text message and an email to go out on every 2 days, you can set that up, or only to go out if they haven't responded within a day or two, right? You can do that. So um, it's not only a way of kind of organizing your contacts, but also setting those automations up and also filtering your campaigns for that more targeted messaging.
Perfect. Remarketing.
So we have a couple ways that you can remarket your contacts, essentially meaning reaching back out to any person who hasn't responded to either your campaign or your automation, right? So for the SMS campaigns, these are the one-time sends for mass one-time sends. Once you send out the campaign, you do have the option to set up a retargeting campaign, which essentially what a retargeting campaign does is it only includes contacts who have not responded to your initial campaign, right? So why that's a huge feature is that you don't want to one, right? Leads are very expensive, right? Especially good leads. So if someone didn't respond to your initial campaign, maybe they were busy, they didn't look at their phone, etc. You don't want to lose that lead, right? So by using a retargeting campaign, you're really squeezing all the life out of your leads as much as you can, right? um, and then on top of that, let's say you did want to hit the same list, but you don't want to annoy anyone that you might be already working with, right? If you're talking to some guy, and you're kind of getting through the deal, and then you send them the initial text again and like, hey, I'm reaching out regarding A, B, and C. That's going to annoy him. Hey, I'm already talking to you. Why are you sending me that initial text again? So that's what you could do, for the again one-time SMS sends. But we also have these features built out in automations where essentially, right, we have if and else logic in the automation workflow, right? Is hmm, wonder is Can you click the view demo? I wonder if this is the automation demo here. Perfect. Yeah, so it is. So go ahead and get started. Thank you. So for an automation, again, this is just the workflow that can automate your messaging. right? The first thing you want to do is select the starting trigger. You can either set it to go off when a contact joins a particular group, or when you label a contact a particular label. If you want to do an automation campaign for an entire CSV, you want to create the contact group first, right? Create the automation, all the steps, run it so that when you upload the CSV, they're getting added to that contact group, so that they're all getting added to the automation essentially. So yep, go ahead and click next here. Yep. So these are the different. Yep. So just choose a group. Perfect. Right. And then what you could do once you choose the group that this automation is going to go to, you would like send the first SMS, right? Whatever template, whatever introductory template works best for you. Okay. And then here's where the if else logic steps come into play here. So yeah, go ahead and click the next node. So there's a few conditional options that you have here for your automations. For the if else, the two big ones that I love to use are if they reply with a specific keyword, uh, or if it's basically a timing condition where have they or have they not responded to your previous message within whatever set time frame, right? So if they haven't responded within 2 days, right, I want to send them this follow-up message. But if they have responded within 2 days, maybe you want to end the workflow and then just respond to them manually, or maybe you want to send them the link to your application, right? That's kind of what these automations can allow you to do. But you can build these out for months and months and months to really, really automate your messaging. You can mix and match, right? Like let's say you have a a reply yes automation set up where your first message, reply yes for a link to our application. They reply yes. The system recognizes that. The second template has that link. Boom! It sends it automatically. You don't have to do any manual outreach or follow ups, right? The system is just looking for that keyword, and then all right, awesome. They're interested. They want the link. Boom! There's the link, right?
Right.
So
And I want to mention that I don't think a lot of the clients don't realize how
it's
powerful this this
it's
this
ridiculous.
automation and remarketing is. A lot of times you get data and a lot of other people get the data at the same time, just the way the industry works. What we see is that a good percentage, and I'm talking a very good percentage, of leads that you put in a drip campaign, month one, month two, month four, six, eight, 12, all of a sudden end up in live deals that get closed. Because what happens is agents don't have the ability to go back to leads from a week, a month, a year ago, right? The system automatically does this. Next thing you know, you're getting responses and you're sending application links through this automation, and you have docs in and you have a closed deal. So this takes all the data that you have and consistently, constantly markets to them over whatever span of time. And as Moises said, we can create different flows for different things: hot leads, cold leads, warm leads, you name it, unlimited amount of campaigns. And this is such an important part of marketing. I don't care what industry, and if you're not doing it, you're definitely losing deals.
Yeah, on top of that, it doesn't have to be, just SMS that it will follow up with, right? You can set it to do, all right, send them a ringless voicemail if they haven't responded within 2 days, or send them an email if they have responded yes, that they want the link to the application. So you can mix and match, and that's what I always recommend, right? So because if they're not responding to your text, hit them with a voicemail, right? They, have let them hear your voice, let them kind of get to know who you are. So I swear by automations. This is my bread and butter. Every day I'm helping clients set up their automations because there's just so much you can really do with them. Yeah, especially when you use them in conjunction with the AI chat assistant. And if you're integrating with other platforms like Zapier, it really gets extremely powerful.
I'll say to if we want to get through a couple more slides, and then we'll come back to I think Josh had another question or two. Um,
Absolutely.
let's see here. You want to touch on the mobile app?
Yeah, so the mobile app, right? Again, it's available for iOS and Android. It's a fully fledged system. You can send out, SMS campaigns through the mobile app. If someone calls you right while you have the mobile app, you'll see that coming in as a normal call, but you'll see the Easify badge. You'll see the logo, so you know, okay, this is not a personal call. This is, a business call, right? It's coming from Easify. So you can respond through chat SMS. You can text your people back. You can look at your analytics. You can dial out. So it's a fully fledged mobile app. We're always, making it better. And yeah, I mean, the fact that you can send out entire SMS campaigns through the app, right? You can be on vacation, or on the road, whatever, and you can still have your marketing going out. So it's a fantastic app, and it's available again on iOS and Android. So no matter what you prefer, right, you can use the Easify app.
I jumped ahead here to the CRM coming soon.
Yes, so I'll speak to this just a bit.
Yeah.
So, there are a bunch of CRMs that are on the marketplace today. And the reason we took this endeavor is because, we're very focused on our clients. So, we talked in the beginning that this is a unified platform of communication and marketing, has all these different tools, all these different, even being able to take data, turn into leads. The one thing that we got time and time again from a lot of our clients is, well, why can't we have this as a CRM too and go through the workflows from docs in to approvals and so forth. And so, you know what? We love it. We're definitely going to build it. So, first, we'll say January. I don't know exactly what date in January, but we'll pre-launch it. And what's going to make this amazing is this, because now this becomes not only marketing communication, this will become the system that gets your deals in and funded, right? We've been in the industry for 10 years. We know exactly what our clients are looking for. The cost for this is going to be nominal, if any. So in terms of this, it's going to be magnificent. We're really excited to launch it to the industry. And we'll let you know more right before it launches, but it's very exciting for us.
Very nice. Okay. And so let's see here, just one sip. Okay, perfect. So this slide, and then we'll get to the last couple of questions.
Nice,
Moises?
nice shot. Oh, yeah, and I was just looking at Josh's comment. Sweet.
Oh,
Yeah, we'd
yeah.
love to get you guys to get you set up, Josh. So we'll definitely talk after the call. So yeah, so basically, right, in a nutshell, what using Easify can do for you, right? It will increase your conversions by at least 40%, up to 70% or more, right? And with that, right, it's all the automation features that we discussed, right? All the retargeting features that we discussed, and ultimately the compliance features that we have, the compliance help that we provide, that maximizes deliverability, so that your messages are actually getting into your clients' inboxes. Um, so of course, like as you guys saw, the AI dialer, as well as the AI SMS agent, are incredible, right? Again, you can use them to literally fund your deals, to convert your merchants. So insane. It's insane that how much value you're getting out of Easify. And then the end-to-end automation, again, we'll get your lead from the CSV import all the way to closing, right, up to sending them the application link, to sending them the email, or whatever your preferred workflow is. We'll help you set it up. Whatever works best for you and your business, right? We're just here to kind of set up those automations for you. Um, and then yeah, like I mentioned, right, we help you stay compliant and efficient, which in today's landscape for SMS sending, it's very vital to be able to continue, sending out your messaging.
Okay. And then wonderful stuff. I think you did already touch on the manually retargeting. I think Josh might have taken off here, but he asked about manual retargeting as opposed to automation. Did you cover that, or was that?
So, oh, okay, I
He
think what
said
you might
if
be
an
asking.
already active prospect could receive the same message or the message again.
I got you. I got you. So typically, right, I would recommend sending, if you're going to do like the one-time SMS campaign, right, then definitely use the retargeting campaign, right, to retarget those contacts. And then if you want to do an automation campaign, then just have those contacts in an automation campaign, so that you're not potentially sending them the same messaging twice, or something like that. It shouldn't really happen, honestly. But right, they're the same function, retargeting and remessaging, so that you're not losing leads, but they're in two different parts of the tool, right? You have the SMS campaigns and retargeting for the one-offs, and then the automations, right, where you can set up the retargeting for months and months and months, based on non-responses or just time frames, right? Send them another message in 3 days, etc. So they're they're the same in function, but again, a bit different in where they're located and how you
Okay.
use them on Easify.
Gotcha. Anyone else have any questions for the guys before we? And I could stay on as long as there's questions and you guys have time to respond. But we certainly appreciate you guys joining us. JT, Jim Garza, Jeremy, Faisal, any of you guys have any other questions for Adam and Moises? Adam and Moises, any other frequently asked questions that you can quickly touch on that you usually get from clients?
Some of the big ones is really, how to use the system. That's always the biggest one, and that's why we're very hands-on in terms of, setting up, getting them up and running. The 10 DLC, it seems to be a mystery for a lot of people, so we make it really easy how to get set up with that. Once they get the 10 DLC, it's a couple days. Other platforms could be a week or more. We'll help with the websites and stuff like that. So all the challenges that you might have had prior to being here, we're going to be here hands on. The other thing also, people ask about support. We're really, really big on support. Not only do you have access to an account success manager, but we have in-app help in EST 9 to 5. So if you have any questions, issues, comments, problems, you can basically chat with the live agent and they're going to walk you through the problems. A lot of times it can be resolved on chat. If not, we'll call you and we'll, maybe do a screen share, whatever the case is, to get you up and running. So, again, what differentiates us, and we tell all our clients, us from other different types of SaaS platforms, is that we're very hands-on because your success is our success.
Absolutely. For me, I get, a lot of clients are interested in kind of the different integrations that we offer. So we do have, API docs for basically anything you can do on Easify, right? Sending SMS, creating contacts, updating contacts. So if you want to build out any custom integrations, we have the documents available on our website. We also integrate with Zapier. You can push, contacts directly to your outside, CRMs by just connecting a URL and then matching the parameters of what you want to push over. So it's very easy to push data outside of Easify. And with our webhooks, right? Again, like using Zapier webhooks or similar tool, you can do a lot of interesting workflows to outside systems. So yeah, we have great support, and the yeah, we can do a lot if you're creative. So kind of the limit to how successful you can be with Easify is just based on how creative and how willing you are to learn the tool.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, I don't see any other questions or no one raised their hand to ask any. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And just thanks again to everyone. Adam and Moises, wonderful job. Amazing product. Software is really something that people need to get into and start using to build their business, to grow their business, in my opinion. So, with that, I think we'll call it a day.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shane.
Yeah, Shane, appreciate it. Any questions, concern, anything, you know how to reach out to us. And thank you for being with us. And
All right,
happy Thanksgiving.
everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving. Thanks, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving. All
All
right,
right.
guys.